Hey guys, welcome back. It's Lucid. I'm joined by Sakane.
Hello, everybody.
And I think we have another steaming hot episode of research targets and priorities for you.
That's right. But punctuated by a dire portent, which
As
is
as promised previously.
Mhm.
What's
Mother
the
Oak.
significance of this?
Boars, 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 and more boars is the
Yep.
significance of this. Um,
The
actually,
nation of
honestly,
free spawn hell.
yeah.
Plus
We could actually,
Menace.
yeah,
Yeah.
so many things. We might as well tell the whole narrative here, which is that so this goes up, and we have been talking with our friends in the East um, about making it go away. Um, and we wanted to overcast it and kind of share the global with
And,
Vinland.
yeah.
Now we don't have a lot of nature income at this point, but we also don't need to spend a lot of nature. And we, due to our misfortune luck events, we actually got a bunch of nature gems just randomly.
Right.
So
But
we have
we're
enough of
also just about to hit our specs, which, with all the gnomes we have, we're
right.
about to go freaking ham doing this remote site searching business.
Yeah, for sure. And so, but that means, with 50, if we threw in 50 and Vinland throws in 50, that's an easy overcast. This clearly is a minimum cast Mother Oak. That's what you do. You don't
Mm-hmm.
do, don't, guys, don't cast a high nature Mother Oak. It's not worth it. Um, but yeah, so we want to take it down, but we don't want it to be us that takes it down because that looks bad. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's kind of important to us that somebody else does it for us, and we can fund them, and then we'd split
Right.
the income. It'd be easy for us to do on our god.
We also don't
Um,
have Alt 5 queued up either. So we would have to do a detour for it. So
yeah, I mean, it was
there's
never,
multiple, I mean we could, but there's multiple reasons it would be nice if
yeah,
somebody else would cast it.
and because that's literally antagonizing the guy we don't want to be fighting just yet.
Right.
Is the other
Right.
thing too, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so this actually does take like a number of turns to progress, but I think we can just go ahead and explain how that story unfolds.
Sure.
Which is that after longer than we wanted to,
Yeah.
we finally do overcast it. There were some sort of just like, oh, we'll talk about it later. And then basically they agreed. Vinland agreed in principle, but then they kind of forgot to research Alt 5. So it took two more turns for them to do that.
Yeah.
By then, we decided because we actually overcast this like I think 10 turns after it goes up or something like that, maybe eight
Yeah.
turns. Here's the math. Mother Oak gives you 10 nature per turn. And it only costs 50 to put up. So if it's up for 5 turns, you've kind of
Right.
made your money back already. And then the only question for us was, has he continued has he spent all that nature into boars,
Right.
or is he saving a bit because either if he wants to put up another global or whatever, he is anticipating the need to retake Mother Oak. The thing is, Mother Oak is a dumb global to fight over. You can take it once, but taking it twice is kind of silly. So we decided to do a 140 nature gem cast of this.
Which Vinland didn't really want to. So we ended up throwing in 90.
Yeah, we contributed more than half.
And he threw in 60.
I think 80.
Oh,
yeah,
80,
yeah. Yeah,
Something
80,
like
60,
that.
yeah. Which is sort of understandable from his point of view. Like, so from Vinland's point of view, this is just like a really bad global. Like, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'll put in 50 or whatever, 60 nature gems, and I'll get like 4 per turn or whatever it is.
Oh,
like
5 per turn. 5 per turn.
Yeah. Which is like, okay. It's just not great. It's a
Yeah.
long return on investment.
Fine. It's fine.
It's
and
fine.
there's risk
It's
it
fine.
could get dispelled too. So, or overcast.
He was mainly concerned that he wanted the nature to forge stuff for his eventual fight, with the
Right.
Pacific Rim over there. So, we had to kind of cajole them into doing it, but they did agree to do it. And for us, it's super important, not because we want the nature income. As it turns out, we're going to get 9 million nature gem sites with hard
Yeah.
specs.
Though it's
but
appreciated. I'm not going to
it's
turn away
always good.
5 nature gems a turn.
Exactly. But mainly, it's super important that we deny those nature gems because that's a 1.5 boars per turn, which is just going to be a ton of little piggies.
And all those boars make little baby boars every turn.
Exactly.
So,
So it's a good thing that happens. Actually, due to the delay in casting it, we felt comfortable starting to cast Haruspex a lot in the next few turns, which was good because we had a lot of force and we got a lot of sights out of that.
yeah.
So that is that happening.
Yeah, we actually started this off. We found a moonvine forest here. It gave us a pearl and a... Yeah, and we've had... This is the other reason. Even though we haven't been site searching nature, we got this pretty early. So that's
this was the...
one of the
if
reasons.
you guys remember, this was the Anunnaki province right in our cap circle.
So yeah, this actually, I hadn't really realized it. This is a 5-gem province. So it's like a cap, basically.
Yeah. Okay. We promised that we were gonna talk about our research objectives. Obviously, we're going for Blood 6.
Yeah.
Thaumaturgy 4, which you can see queued up, is again site searching. This is for Auspex in air, and also our Haruspex, which is Thom 3.
If you look at our site searching now, our plan is basically things that have not been site searched at all. We're going to send our Malakwi through, and the Malakwi is going to hit fire, air, earth, astral, and death. So all these things which have no lines in it, we're going to hit those with Malakwi. And we've got 2 now running around doing it, I think. Everything that the Buddha have hit already, we're going to hit these with the remotes, like Arcane Probing, Auspex, and then everything is going to get Haruspexed.
Yeah.
And we don't have any water yet, but we just took this turn, and I didn't even notice it, but you found it like the turn we took it. You were like, oh, dude, we've got even better water mages to get.
We actually didn't mention it in the last episode, because last episode is when we took the other lake. So the Northwest Lake also has mages. These are the Marrow Druids.
Which is super lucky that you take 2 water provinces and each of them has a water mage in it. That's like
exactly
very unlikely.
Now, the Marrow Druid is a better mage than the Ichthid because it's got 2 paths, right?
It's also 140. Yeah.
And it's way more expensive, yeah. So we decided to lab and temple the Ichthids.
Yeah.
Also because it's less exposed, right? So it couldn't be raided by Mammon.
Yeah, this is like, if we fight these guys, this is going to be contested. The temple will get knocked over. There's a bunch of bad things with that.
For sure. So we're going to lab and temple up that province. As you can see, we're actually labbing it up already.
Right.
And that'll break us into water. And because we have construction 6, it's easy to make a water bracelet, and then we can just remote site search water. So that is kind of taken care of. So that's pretty nice. And also our god came online pretty early. I think this is turn 32 or 31.
He's out pretty early. Has he made anything yet?
Maybe not immediately.
No,
but
not yet.
We're going to basically, because we'll forget to highlight him, but we're going to use him to craft a few, boosters and cross paths that we need. Later, at some point, for sure, we're going to twice-born him.
Yeah.
Because with all the extra slots from the White Mage form, you can actually, for reals, boost into everything. So he can easily do rings of sorcery and wizardry. He could do the magi armor or cloak, whatever thing.
Even with this, he could boost into a ring of wizardry, but we'd have to make a ring of sorcery first. If we twice-born him, we can put an astral hat on him, and then we can skip that. So
right now, soon he's going to make us a Staff of Elemental Mastery, the Air Earth one,
right?
Which is really handy to have. He could do a Bloodstone, Moonvine. There's a lot of really useful cross paths that we have.
You know what I didn't realize? I don't know if it's worth it, but it may not be. He can also do Raven Feast too, because we're gonna have that later. But I just realized he has the paths for it. If we wanted to do 2 castings, he's our only other person.
Yeah,
who
that's
could.
True. Yeah,
it's a lot of research to give up for it, but
so we are currently in the present. We are doing Raven's Feast. That's alteration. That's Conjuration 5.
Yeah.
But once we get to Blood 6, the question then becomes, what do we want to research next? And I guess even though it's a few turns in the future, do you want to talk about that right now? Or do you want to just
Well,
kind of skip
let's
through the
skip through a
turns?
little bit
Let's
as
skip
we'll
through,
talk about it.
through
Yeah,
the
because
turns.
we'll have something to talk about. So
Yeah.
32.
Yeah.
Oh, we're actually going to do a big jump here to 34.
Oh, okay.
This
Oh, wait,
was
was
this was
this
during
Christmas?
this was Christmas, I think.
Yeah. Oh,
And
actually, yeah.
it's
I have those turns saved. Normally, I
you
don't
have it.
save these turns.
We could pull them up, but I mean, not much is happening.
Yeah.
We'll save you.
Oh, yes.
Sky Split Oak, Haru Specs, Auspex, Poison Glade. This is a Death Nature site, and it lets you get. This is an
It's
amazing
like-
site. Yeah,
We actually got so many great sites that it turns out we kind of don't really need.
yeah, because
Right,
we
it's like-
kind of have a lot of the paths we need already.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
So right now you can see. So this is like 3 turns in the future, but you can see
our air income
remote
is
sites you
pretty
choose.
huge. Yeah, like if we look at it, this is way better than it was 4 turns ago. You can see a lot more provinces have been hit by the Malaquis.
Like the nature is like half done almost.
Yeah,
right?
the nature's like a third done maybe, and then you can see the Auspex
There is-
starting to get fired off. We haven't
Yeah,
started the
well-
water engine yet, but that's coming soon.
So we have only the air Malqui right now. However, we have a couple provinces that are going to have the whatchamacallit, the chain of events that gives you the air 2 mages.
Oh, right. I
One of the-
think that's actually happening here. Yeah.
One of the provinces in which the chain has triggered is this Throne province. So it was it was quite trivial for us to just put, like, we had a Melkart there, so we just put him a bunch of Sacreds on patrol. And they've been kind of handling all those events for us. So once we get those air 2s, and also the Shaitan themselves are also air 2, that'll allow us to remote search air,
Right.
whatever we haven't done yet. You can see already we've got, so right now we're blood hunting in the Northwest Throne, and that is because that is a throne of bureaucracy, which reduces
dude.
income. Yeah.
Thought about
we
the
forget
site we get from this, I think. You know, the event chain that gives us the Windmaster. I think it also gives us a 2 bonus range to air. So we can actually do
so, yeah.
Raven Feast from here. With
Oh,
the air
yeah.
mages.
With the air guys,
Yeah.
Well, I think we already moved the guys to do it, but
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, because also the staff elemental mastery gives that +1 range also. so
Yeah,
that
they'll be able
helps.
to hit, I think, any of our provinces from here. But anyway,
So-
sorry, detour.
Yeah. So no, sorry. So we're blood hunting from the
Zach and I
Northwest
haven't talked
Throne.
in a long time, like in voice
haven't, yeah.
compared to our relative games. So it's like,
Yeah. Because that province has a like -100 gold income, it doesn't really matter if we blood
this
hunt it a
one,
lot. Yeah. So unfortunately, somehow I let the unrest run up to 180, so we gotta patrol
told
it
you,
out a
man.
bit.
Zach was slamming this blood hunt button.
Actually,
this
you're
was
the
over
one who
Christmas.
started.
Was
Yeah.
it?
No, this was so this province blood hunting we had started a while ago.
Yeah.
But we didn't let the patrol say. Anyways, I just like to point out that's one of our blood hunting provinces. The others are all in the southeast. So we have those 3 to the east here,
Right.
and they each have like 4 to 6 nurses, basically blood hunting in them. And then there's another blood hunting province that is to the southwest there. Yeah, that one. And then we're also setting up another one
Here.
in the forest south of the South Lake.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Oh, no, that one too. That's the last one we've just set up now.
Oh,
in
this one's
present,
going to be
but
one too.
Yeah, that one too. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't mention
So-
this. So this was one of our horror specs that was in the turn we missed. But
Enchantment bonus.
hello!
Yeah.
It's one of the best sites in the game, guys. Enchantment bonuses are super good. They're not as good as, like, Alteration is the best in my opinion, because it opens up, like, wish farming and stuff. But Enchantment is like and Blood is maybe the best. Maybe Blood's the best. And then, depending on the quantity of it.
Hey, honestly, aren't they? Because like you can't go wrong with Construction, and you also can't go wrong with Conjuration. Like they're all pretty
Conjuration's
good.
not as good. Conjuration's definitely a tier beneath Alteration and Blood. Construction, yes, huge. So yeah, I'd say like top tier is like Construction and Blood and Alteration, and Enchantment is right up in there with them. I don't know, it might be a little bit beneath Blood and stuff, but
Certainly for us, we're gonna want. I mean, there's actually a few globals we might get in Enchantment. We'll talk about
Right.
that later. But just twice boarding our Buddhas, we can just do that.
is huge. This is going to make it
Save
only
a lot of-
take 7 gems instead of 10.
Mhm.
And Buddhas with Twiceborn are phenomenal because then you can use them a little bit like you stole them. And if we Twiceborn the Death 3 ones, there's a chance that they come back as Death 4. And that's kind of a big deal. So,
Yeah. By the way, when we decide to Twiceborn our God, we should not forget to do it here because
it's a huge discount.
Yeah, that'll be a huge discount. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, blood hunting is happening. We have, we're just forging still lanterns and death amulets all the time, and summoning undead kings to patrol with the undead.
For those of you who watched my Lanka series, you may notice some similarities in that it's kind of the same philosophy in that every mage has an item. All mages must have items.
There are also similarities in that we both played that game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
true. That's true. You did sub in for me. Yeah.
I finished that game.
So you've heard the an item to every mage speech before.
Well, but these are the same mages. These are
the same mages. Yeah,
it's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing here. And in fact, at this point, our limiting factor, or at least there were a few turns, and I guess we can go through the turns slowly, but there were a few turns where I was doing the micro, and it's like we're kind of running out of mages to put stuff on. But we don't have the gold to...
the forts are expensive.
The forts are expensive, right? And the lab and temple, it's like, 2,400 gold or whatever to get that. Get that up. So
another nature site.
I get we could just show like all the sites maybe in a few turns. So in terms of research, is this where we get Shaitan? I think we're a couple turns off.
We're getting it this turn. We finagled it to just get it by the we were microing this to get it right on the nose.
Yeah.
So, just like we did with Construction 6. We're such sweaty gamers over here.
That's right. It's funny because one of the things that I would probably not have bothered to do if I was just playing alone, but like when you have two players, it's like if each of us invests the same amount of energy we would normally have in a one-headed Hydra game, right?
Yeah.
Then that's like way more effort going into each turn.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, like when you've already done all the micro, like what am I going to sit here and fuss about? I can't sit here and fuss about the micro. I've got to sit here and be like, well,
how can we optimize?
We can totally get this one turn early. Exactly. What if we started making a few more research items, or like whatever. But
so you can see we have 247 blood in the bank. There's a bunch on scouts coming in next turn.
Yeah.
And
one thing that's good to do that Sack doesn't do, that I always come back, it's like one of the micro things I do when Sack's done a turn, is you don't want to keep let's say you don't have a scout here to pick up all the slaves. There's too many. Don't leave them on your blood mages, because especially if one has 20, they might overfill up and then you miss some potential income. Put them on the patroller.
Yeah. It's especially true when you're starting. Like now we have scouts in there every turn.
Right.
So now they're empty all the time. But
this guy didn't have any before, and you can see he's full now. Some of these are full, so we might have actually lost a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's we were still setting up we got the blood hunting set up, but then the scouts were still not flowing in.
And the criteria for getting this started actually is we need a few skulls of fire, because to cast Shaitan, you need to be blood 2, fire 3, I think.
Blood 1, fire 3.
Blood 1, fire 3. So
it's fire 3 that counts. Yeah.
Our Melkort needs a fire booster. Our God can do it without any boosters, which I didn't even think about. But yeah, it's awesome. Sack, you realized that.
Yeah. So
and the Shaitan need a booster.
The Shaitan can summon themselves if you give them a fire booster. So yeah. Well, why don't we go next turn and see? I think we cast 4 Shaitans on the first turn we had them.
Oh, it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Was it 37?
Yeah, I think. Well, that's now we have. Excuse me. Now we have blood 6.
No.
Oh, that's weird.
36.
I could have sworn I saw 36 when you hovered over, so that's weird.
It's possible I have these saved in the wrong folder. Oh no, this is the first one. So we finished Blood Magic. Haru specs, don't find anything. Arcane Probing, Pyramid of Life, another great site. We have some provinces, guys, which are ridiculous. This one here is a 5-gem province. This one, we're about to find a magic site, and this is going to be like a 7-gem province.
Yeah.
This is a 5-gem province. It's kind of ridiculous.
We've site searched very thoroughly.
Yeah, look, I mean, guys, just like last episode, you were saying this was like almost nothing. We're playing bingo for black, like we're doing blackout bingo right now. Like it's getting to be intense.
Actually, so already you can see our gemming, like our nature and earth is really solid. Our air is really solid. But one thing we've been worried until now is our fire has always been garbage. It's just because we have Buddhas that we can make so many lanterns. We had a bunch saved up from luck events.
Yeah, and we had traded, I think, for some maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah. But Astral Pearls is garbage. Fire is garbage.
Yeah, we've got garbage fire, garbage water, garbage pearls, but air, oh yeah. Earth, oh yeah. Death, oh yeah. Nature, oh yeah. And we still got site searching left to do.
For sure. So we have Shaitan coming on this turn. Okay, well, we're grabbing Conjuration 5. So at this point, like, researching something to 5 is kind of like a freebie. It's like 1 turn or 2 turns of research. And, you know, especially if you're a newer player, it can be very tempting to like tunnel vision down to like whatever enchantment 7 or whatever thing you want, right? For the buff that you want, alt 7.
Which is viable.
But don't forget that it doesn't quite it almost doubles, right? Each research level.
Yeah.
And so it can be really fast. Like by delaying let's say alt 7 is your goal for whatever reason. Delaying alt 7 by 2-3 turns might get you like 3 other research fields down to 5, right? And that might be, in whatever game you're in, that might be huge, right? There's a lot of quality spells in other branches. So we had to decide what are our deep research targets that we want. Clearly we want Thaumaturgy 9, obviously.
Well, let's talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
I want to get let's just do research. So, Conjuration, which is what we're headed for now, Conjuration 5, we get a few things that are potentially very useful. We get Voice of Apsu for our water mages coming out, so we can site search. That in and of itself, it would be worth coming to Conjuration 4 just for that right now.
We needed Conjuration 3 for eventually, because we're going to need some on Earth Power, some on Fire Power. So that was never in question. But Conjuration 5 gets you big elementals. We can do big air. We can do big fire.
Yeah, we can do big fire. And it also gives us Raven Feast. And if you can get, we have the Staff of Elemental Mastery, I think, by now. And with the hat on, our guys can do Raven Feast. And if we cast this in like a 200 corpse province, we get like 7 to 8 death gems. So it's like +5 gems every time we cast it.
Yeah.
So it can be real nice, but you need a lot of dead people, like dead population from your blood hunting for this to work out. So
yeah, we were concerned because, we want to aim for deep Thaumaturgy. We want to do Galegate, and we were concerned about accumulating enough air gems, but we've been lucky enough with our air gem site searching that we can afford to do this. Because it's going to be a number of turns.
You're talking about it, Zach. You make me really want to talk about. Let's talk about the win condition.
Okay, let's skip to the end. We'll come back to the middle.
We'll come back to the middle.
Yeah, we'll come back to the end. What's the win condition, Lucid?
So this is the thing, and this is why we're not putting up any of these videos. I mean, in general, I don't like putting up videos until the game's over, just because when I'm talking to you guys, I don't want to be thinking about, okay, well, what will people in the game think if they heard it? Like, I just don't even want to have to think about it. I just want to tell y'all, like, as honestly as I can, what's happening in the game. I don't want to have like 2 minds about it.
Yeah.
So
before you go forward though, I want like a quiz for the audience, right? So we have Royal Malqui, right? And so like and we've said a few times like Thaumaturgy, deep Thaumaturgy is our right?
Yeah. People know.
And people know, right? But they don't really know.
They don't really know. You think you know. Everybody in the game thinks they know. But they don't know. Really know. They don't really know. And
They
that's
don't really
why
know. So
it's so funny because nobody know. We're like a few turns ahead of this, but still nobody knows.
nobody has figured it out yet. This is like a bad anime where it's like, aha, that wasn't my true form. This
Yeah,
is now
exactly.
my true form.
People are
So
worried we get to Thumb 9, we do Master and Slave and Undead Mastery and this kind of bullshit, which we're
well, it's
totally
like
going to do.
people, well, no, hang on. People are worried because oh no, they're gonna like reanimate a ton of long dead. But it's like, oh no, actually it's Shaitan, right? Oh no, they're gonna have a ton of Shaitan. Well, no, actually it's Mass and Slave.
But actually, it's
But
not.
but actually it's not.
That's what people think our final form is. But that's
Yeah,
not our final form.
it's not the final form. Um,
The,
I really like this nation we've
yeah.
created. It's
The final
yeah,
form has something to do with this, and we'll see if you can figure it out.
yeah.
The final form is we get Galegate, and then we get Dark Skies, and then we blood sacrifice out of every single province while we have 40 Shaitan running around and stealing people.
So to make sure everybody gets that, especially if you don't know what all those things do,
Yeah, okay, we'll go back.
and the super synergy. So Galegate is the air generating global, which will help us to control Dark Skies. Dark Skies is a target, but Galegate is crucial to getting it because
Yeah.
you need the air
And
income.
the
to
good
control.
things about going for this are very rarely, first of all, we're probably, while we have been a laggard in research, we will be top in research, I think, in not very long, with possibly Vinland contesting us, but they're a little small.
Yep, we're the only. I mean, there's another nation that has the EA Ulm Smiths, but they
Right.
don't all have fire.
Right.
So we're definitely like in a great shape for research here.
Right.
We'll get this soon.
And
Dark
other
Skies.
nations are not going to be rushing thaumaturgy. And that means they're not really going to be able to contest us, I don't think, for Galegate.
Also, very few. Although Elf Blesses are popular, most of the time it's Air 3.
Yeah.
And so very few people have taken Air 4, and that makes a big difference because if you have Air 3, the only way to get higher is either you have to have Fire, Water, Staff of Elemental Mastery,
And
which is possible.
people will be able to do that. I don't think that's going to be a block.
Well, they're able, but that's like several more turns delay, right? That means
Yeah.
like you got to scrounge up like 70 pearls to make a ring of wizardry, right? Like that
Yeah.
that takes doing, right?
Right.
So that's like another stumbling block. Anyways, we're in a good position to grab Galegate and Dark Skies. Now, Dark Skies.
And our air income is pretty sick. It's what? 9.
Actually,
It's going to go up. It's going to go up a lot because if you look at it, air is not one of the things we've completed. We have not crossed out we have not blacked out our air row in bingo.
Yeah.
And we're going to because we just recently got Auspex done, and we've got Shaitan coming out. And the Shaitan, if they're in the right spot, they're going to be casting Auspex for us. So yeah.
So as a reminder, Dark Skies lowers morale in your Dominion. By 1 point per point of Dominion.
And darkness in battles. This is like cave darkness.
Yeah. Incident, like as an
Did
added
we
bonus.
were we Jedi? I don't think we got. Did we get Spirit Sight? We did.
Of course we did.
Oh God, Sack! I'm so glad we
course
got it.
we
We were not going to get it, and then we got it, right?
I wanted to get it, yeah.
But there was no. We had to think a lot of pretenders that didn't have it on it, and then we changed it at the end to get death because we wanted we were like, is it worth it to get more more undead command? Because we definitely, that was why we went death. I think our first builds didn't have it, and you were like, I want undead command, and then a side effect of getting that was we picked up Spirit Sight.
So minus morale in our candles, which synergizes super well with well, hang on. Obviously, it synergizes with Shaitan. The point is, let's go seduce. Let's corrupt, actually, but it's also works on morale. But the other kind of secret part of our build is the blood sacrifice bonus from the milk cart that people might not have
Realized,
into.
yeah.
And so the idea is we started with Dominion Strength 9 because of course we did.
Well, because we have game hurtings, so yeah.
Right, exactly. So we're starting at 9. We're going to have milk carts if we could ever afford to hire them.
We're 11 already, by the way.
Yeah, with all our temples for
Yeah,
sure.
and we have Dominion conflict bonus of 1
From the throne of bureaucracy. Yeah. This guys, all the synergies are coming together. So milk carts are going to be blood sacrificing.
They're going to do 4. They have a bonus of 1. So they're going to be basically they can sacrifice, and sometimes you don't look. Oh, I don't. So the way blood sacrificing works, guys, is you load up as many slaves on them as you have priest levels plus your sacrifice bonus. So like these guys, you could only put 1 slave on them, and for you to do it, you have to actually put 1 slave on, and you do like blood sacrifice like this. But for a Melkwort, you put 4 guys on them like this, and you do blood sacrifice. You can put fewer on them, but they will only blood sacrifice as if they're a Holy 2 mage. So you put 4 on to get them to go as a Holy 4, basically. Or he's only a Holy 3, but he's got a sacrifice bonus of 1.
So, so we're going to have like a ton of temple checks.
Yeah.
So any defensive fight is guaranteed to be in our dominion. But honestly, all the border fights are also going to happen in our dominion. And we can always send Buddhas in to heretic their dominion if we need to.
Yeah.
They have so much value, doing other things right now.
There's some things I think we need to think about too in preparation for this. And this is now like forward looking a little bit at our current turn, but it's relevant to this discussion. There is a lot of value in you notice we haven't been doing it already. Like we don't, first of all, the second we start dom pushing really hard, people will notice and talk about it, and then they'll start maybe connecting the dots and figuring out what's going to happen. And what we want to do is we want to turn it on very quickly, and the second we turn it on, we want it to start producing results very quickly. So for example, we want to have our dominion filled up as much as we can in our internal lands, so that once we turn it on, all the candles we generate aren't going to be busy filling up our internal lands. So it might be a good idea to maybe turn on... Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, although filling up our internal candles is not something people are going to notice. Like, there's a lag time. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying as we get ready, it would make sense to blood sacrifice in some places, like here where first of all, it's something we've already done, but moving some of the Buddhas out of internal land to external land, right? And then maybe start blood sacrificing some in some of these internal provinces to get these things completely filled up. You're
absolutely right. Honestly, we should go to our current turn and we should start turning on blood sac on all of our internal forts.
But we have to be very careful because we don't and we don't want to do it here. First of all, there's a few things. Any candles that we push into enemy land that they preach out are basically like wasted slaves for us, right? So if we're turning it on and we're not invading and we're just having them preach out, it's a waste, right? It's not a good use of our time and our blood slaves. But we do want to turn it on internally, get all these things filled up, but it's just going to be like a trickle of dom push. It's not going to be anything that people are going to be like, oh my God, there's a huge problem. And then when the time comes and people start connecting the dots, we have Melkworts that are just fucking blasting. And each one that does it is going to be 4 temple checks. And then they're just blasting it with dom strength 11 or 12, depending on how many we have at the time, and a conflict bonus. And it's just going to overwhelm very quickly. And if they're not paying attention, even if they just don't notice it for a couple turns, they could easily have 8 candles in this province and 6 candles here and 8 candles of ours here. And the morale penalty they're going to get of 8, if we look at their mages, these guys who you kind of generally don't want to run into with the Shaitan, we've done some testing about that, but we won't talk about that here. These guys, if they get one enemy, they get -1 from enemy dominion, so that'll put them at 13. And then if they're in 8 candles, then they're going to be
because
at
of dark
5.
skies.
Yeah,
this the key here is dark skies, right?
Yeah.
And
they'll be at 5.
The corruption is a roll versus what, 14?
14.
13?
Yeah, we get 90% of them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the play, guys. The play is it's Shaitan, but it's Shaitan plus Blood Sacrifice plus Dark Skies.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
not
the
any
kind
blood
of
sacrifice, like Melkort blood sacrifice.
yes. Yeah.
And Zach, if we want to go completely crazy, you don't need a temple to blood sacrifice, I don't believe.
No, I think you do.
Wait, you do?
I think you do.
Oh wait,
You have
let's
to
read
add
it.
a temple.
Okay, you may be right.
Yeah, you do.
From per temple. Okay, you're right. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say we could we could do some fortless temples, but those are kind of against my religion,
So to speak.
Yeah. But
well, the problem is we don't have the gold to build temples.
yeah,
we'll never have the
that
gold
too.
to build temples.
Yeah, and if we have the gold to build a temple, we might as well put a fort and lab there. But so the no, like this is something that never gets said. Like, when have you been in a game and you've heard somebody say, "Look at all of the things in thaumaturgy that are going to let us win the game"? Like,
Yeah,
sometimes you
it's
might have
like-
heard said that, like, "Oh yeah, this would be a good thing to get," but normally people are like, "Look at all this stuff in alteration, or all this stuff in blood, or all this stuff in somewhere else." But here we're checking lots of boxes. We're like Dark Skies. If we want to, we could do Purgatory, and he can't ever send stuff in. I mean, this would flush all of his undead out of his forts too.
Dude, that hadn't occurred to me, but we should totally, like, on the turn that the war starts, we should try to sneak in Purgatory if we have candles in his forts, because that'd be hilarious, right?
Yeah.
He has a doom stack of skeletons, and it just wakes up, and it's
Yeah,
toast.
it wouldn't get the big ones, but it would get the little ones for sure.
Yep.
Because the big ones have fire resistance. I think this is fire damage. Well, it could kill him.
18 AP. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
good.
they'd come down to 13 AP, and yeah, I don't know. Well, they don't heal, so it would chip away at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean-
That actually hadn't occurred to me. The
Yeah.
Purgatory.
You know, Gale Gate's going to be huge. A Soul
Okay.
Drain, our god will be able to do.
Yeah. So that's like our end game.
Yeah.
But to get there, and we did the math, it's like about 16 turns if we just like beeline right for it, something like that.
Yeah, we could get it by like turn 50.
But
Which, if
you
you
know,
think
it
about
ta-
it, to get game winning research by turn 50, that's in the nines, that's pretty good.
unfortunately, it does also require, like the other parts that we mentioned, having the Melkarts. We only have 3 Melkarts now, and we literally can't afford to recruit anymore.
Right.
And also, if they attack us in 6 turns, we can't be like, hang on, guys, just give us another 10 turns. We'll be right back.
Right.
So there are just some things we have to grab in the meantime.
Let me pull up the next turn, and then let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because we're looking to give stuff to talk. I feel like I look forward so much to each of these turns and all the micro opportunities they present, but there's not much to talk about. Mother Oak, I think it's a Nature 2 site. Yeah. Okay. We took this back from the Barbs. I think that was the only action. Pin Pappy, by the way. Oh, I guess we missed. That must have been one of the turns we missed. They got completely wrecked.
Yeah, we never saw any interesting I mean, we saw the last battle, but there wasn't anything.
I think we saw when they
there.
went on top of the fort. Maybe we missed it somehow, but
Yeah.
it was a complete stomp. There was no. I mean, and it wasn't. I mean, they were completely checkmate from turn 1 of the war started. Because I sat there and talked to them. I was like, well, maybe you could do it. No, maybe you could. No.
No.
I think you're just
Yeah.
fucked. I don't know what else to tell you. They had like 30 Morvarks when the war started. And it would have been like bringing those Morvarks against our Gamherdings. The Gamherdings would horribly abuse those pretty little elves. It would not be.
I remember, Mammon they have basically Garms. They have Chuds, right? Which are like just
Yeah.
human Garms, right?
Yeah.
But also, like, Beast Bats and Onakui with Drain. You know, it's
It
just
was
they had
ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it was
bad.
a massacre.
Right. So you wanted to get Conjuration 5, which has merit just as a fighting line
Yeah,
of
I mean,
research
we
for the
can
big
with all the
elementals.
Shaitan, we can drop like 30 air elementals if we need to win an important fight, right?
Yeah. But
And we
the
can also
Raven
use it in
Feast is,
assassination battles too,
yeah, for
and Raven
sure.
Feast. Yeah,
But yeah, Raven Feast was the reason we got that. So that's one target. Then we definitely wanted to round up Evocation 5 for Earthquake.
yeah.
Because, you know,
We can
we
abuse Earthquake with Malakui.
for sure. We have determined through testing, Lucid, I say we, but I don't test. Lucid likes to test. We determined that a properly Construction 6 kitted Melkart can definitely tank, like, can basically super combatant against all of the Undead Swarm from Manon.
So the undead's easy. It's the chuds.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Chuds being the
Yeah.
scary thing here,
Yeah.
right?
But
The problem is,
yeah. Go ahead.
the problem is he has Thaumaturgs, right? So it's not just like 100 Chuds. It's 100 Chuds and like 30 Astral Death Holy Two Mages.
Yeah, I mean, and he has just his Anankwi, which are going to be.
Well, right, I was going to say, and
yeah.
if that wasn't bad enough,
Yeah.
you have Drain Life Casters.
Right. Yeah, you
And
can't
so-
super combat and drain life cast. Well, you could.
Exactly.
You could. We
Well,
can.
not with, yeah.
No, we can. It has to be our fire random, and we have to do Phoenix Pyre.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then that guy you can't magic phase onto, like it doesn't always work. So we need a way to inflict damage to the army. And not only the army like the skeletons, but also the mage communion. And so Earthquake is definitely a nice little cheese that we can throw in there. This also puts us right on the doorstep of Evo 6 if we needed to grab it, which has a lot of nice spells. Obviously, Wailing Winds, which we can cast. Also, the Banefires, because we have those cross paths if we wanted to go more the evocation route. But definitely we wanted Evo 5, so we had Earthquake unlocked. After that, obviously we're going to grab like Alteration 5, Enchantment 5. Just getting to 5 takes we have 1,000 research per turn. That's like half a turn of research. It's not a big deal. But then the question is let's say we have everything at 5. Where do we go from there, right? And there's a lot of good things, obviously in Alteration, in Enchantment, even in Blood, like Blood 7 and Blood 8. Construction 7 has merit, and of course Thaumaturgy. So there's a lot of possible things that we could get. And what we have decided is we are going to get Enchantment 7 and then Alteration 6 at least, if not 7, and then go to Thaumaturgy. So the reason... Actually, so Enchantment 7, which you have pulled up now... Well, actually, Enchantment 6 gives you Rigor Mortis and Relief.
Yeah.
And it's important to have Relief if your opponent can do Rigor Mortis, so that's taken care of. Arrowfen, less of an issue. Actually, he does have Hobart Crossbows, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
But Enchantment 7 for Mass Flight is going to be a huge combo with Earthquake.
Yep.
So we felt that was like a key battlefield thing that we could do.
And we can
help
do
us
this
win the large
without
fight.
our Malakwi too. We can do the combo with just Buddha and
Shaitan.
And Shaitan or anything with any
yeah.
air mage. Because we have now several sources.
It's important to remind people because it's been a while in terms of episodes since we mentioned this, but the only Astral Mage we have is a Malakwi, which means any Malakwi you bring is going to die instantly to Mind Burn.
Magic Duel.
To Magic Duel. Until we've had a few turn of Shaitan recruitment of Thaumaturgs, right? So those first few big battles, we can't really use the Malakwi.
Yeah.
And so that's why we were looking for, these other key spells. So we decided Enchantment 7 is a thing. Now, Alt 7 has a ton of value also, obviously. It's Mass Protection, it's Fog Warriors,
Phoenix Pyre.
Phoenix Pyre, right? Great stuff. But it doesn't have that battlefield wide impact that...
Well, it does. I mean, those are battlefield-wide things we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry, that's really the wrong choice of words. It's not going to destabilize like 30 mages the way Earthquake is going to, right? For example.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get it anyways.
If we're doing army versus army, there's a very good case to be made for Alt 7. And the thing I think we have to line up on the timing is, like, if we're fighting Mammon, we want Alt 7 before Thaumaturgy. Because Thaumaturgy is a little bit greed versus...
Yes.
So some of that will depend on how soon the war starts, or if it starts.
So our current... Yeah. Our current idea was to go Enchantment 7 and then Alt 6 and park it there.
Yeah.
Right? And because we have so much research now, we could almost one turn Alt 7. Not quite, but we'll be able to in a few...
Yeah, and we could go make that last jump if we need to.
Because we have a nap with them, right? So we're going to park at Alt 6 and grab Alt 7 if we need it. The same thing, incidentally, is true in Blood, because Blood 7 gives us Blood Rain, which is really nice. And even Construction 7 I mentioned earlier, because that gives us Golems, which is going to give us a way to do anti-magic, which we can't do because Magic Duel. So there's a few things that we're parked like right on the border of, which we can grab in a nap expiration time frame.
Yeah. But honestly, I think even things like anti-magic for us aren't going to be super important if we can do Earthquake Mass Flight combos. Because we'll just delete all the mages. It's going to be...
Exactly. And that's why we've chosen to go... Excuse me. That's why we've chosen to go Enchantment and Alteration.
Yeah.
Rather than Construction.
Yeah. And
then it's Thaumaturgy. Thaumaturgy, baby.
Yeah. So I think the things that are important in this are the timing. And that the thing is, once we cast... On one hand, we want to cast Gale Gate as early as possible. But once we cast it, I think people will figure out our final form, which nobody knows. And
you know what? I don't think so. Because I think when they...
they'll think we're just running to...
They'll think we're just running to Master and Slave because of the Malqui.
Well, okay.
Which is not better. That's going to trigger them to be afraid of us. But
yeah,
I'm saying that might not clue them into the Dark Skies follow-up.
We could put it up the literal next turn after we cast Galegate too.
Yeah.
Which may be the right thing. But I think we have to balance putting these up. Like, I think ideally for me, and this is going to get into our current turn, which I feel like we can get. Let's just go to our current turn. Nothing's happened.
Go to the current turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can show everybody, like, just the gems and the site. Let's show them the site searching just right away.
So
I have never site searched this much in a game, I think. Look at that.
When is the last time you blacked out your bingo board?
I don't think I've ever done it.
We got some work to do on water, but we've got our best guys on it. They're deployed. Astral, we got a little bit more work to do on. Nature, we're done. What is this? The whirlpool? Oh, and but guys, look at all these sites. Look how many there are.
There's so many. And check the gem income. So 18 air.
Guys, let this sink in after what we just told you about our final form. Our final form is based on air gems.
Yeah, we don't even need Galegate.
Good luck fighting us for control of Galegate. And if you can't fight us for control of Galegate, then that means we're going to control Dark Skies. And if we control Dark Skies, and we didn't even mention that we can do blood, air, death, morale plays, like on the battlefield, right? he can
An
do
army that attacks us will just every unit will start with 1 morale. Like
yeah, they'll literally the whole army will instantly run turn 1. They can kind of counter that by doing turn 1 Growing Fury. If they do turn 1 Growing Fury and any buffs they can get off round 1, that will work. So they can get buffs on their Garms, and maybe they have one berserking undead leadership mage that'll keep their skeletons from running. But then literally everything else runs off the field. That's a hard handicap to fight with. But yeah.
Incidentally, in the last couple of turns, literally the last 2 turns, we found fire and
Astral.
water
too.
So,
oh yeah.
Well, yeah, we found 1 astral, but now we have +8 fire. We've had +3 fire for like this entire game.
I've also been pedantically searching for holy one. I've been moving Rock Potter around looking. This is how much we're blacking out the bingo board. We're getting all the holy sites, and we're gonna get blood one everywhere. Because if there's a Mount Chaining somewhere, we haven't found a blood site. By God, Sakane, we're going to find it. That would be, it would be so cool if at the end of the game it showed all the sites you didn't find. I wish it would do that.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Okay, so anyways, gems we're doing awesome. Research, we should show.
Oh, this is the translucent tower, by the way. Yeah, boosts air ritual range by 2. Yeah, we totally can do. Okay, wait, this is our current turn. Yeah, these guys can do Auspex from here and hit it's only an air 2 range, but I mean 4 is a pretty long way. I don't think we don't really need to do any more of that.
Yeah, it's only the southernmost provinces. Let's show our research so people see how much it's.
Yeah, we're up to 1,600. It's been going up by at least 100 a turn, I think, or thereabouts.
Nowadays we're doing about. So each turn we get about 7 to 8 mages, maybe let's say 6 or 7 nurses. And it's about half and half. Maybe we'll do like 3 researchers, 3 reanimators, and 1 blood hunter. Maybe on average, right? Just to give a rough number.
Yeah.
So, just kind of creeping up. But we're getting researchers in the form of Shaitan. It's pretty fluid, but it's growing at a nice pace. And that's the kind of thing where we were saying last turn, we could just like 1 turn Alt 7. I mean, Alt 7 is 2,400. We've got 1,700 already. That's pretty close.
And you can see our Dominion's actually been filling up kind of okay. This is 8, this is 7, but this is not super high 6.
And maybe that port there a bit to the east of it.
We can totally afford to blood sacrifice here.
I agree. Let's do that. And that other one that has 2 candles.
Which one's that? Oh, this one. This is the one that we've got.
They had Buddhas.
We had Buddha parked in. They definitely exerted attacks on our Dominion.
Shift K, by the way, for blood sacrifice randomly.
And we need to get. We're moving. So we're moving the death randoms here, where we have a lab on the cedar pillars, and they're going to go ahead and Twiceborn. We've been doing Raven Feast. One thing I don't understand, Sakane, I'm going to go pull up the other turn. This only found 4. I thought there was 200 corpses.
I mean, it was at least 160. Like I've never casted it on something that wasn't in the 160 to 200 range.
Let me check. So it's 176. I'm gonna hit intern here. And oh no, we fucked up.
Yeah, that must have been a missed target then.
Okay. The spell's not broken. Human error.
Human error. We probably meant to target that bottom, that one with 182.
Somebody probably misclicked, so
yeah.
It's probably me.
Mistakes were made. I mean, we still gained a gem.
We gained a gem. But it'd be kind of cool if you could see this in the F1, how many corpses there were. But yeah, we'll just keep targeting that. And every time we hit one of these, we make a few gems profit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're generating enough corpses. I guess we are to have our god do it. I think it's worth. I would spend a god turn of research to get 3 gems.
65 research seems like a lot.
Yeah. 3
I guess.
gems.
Okay. Well, the thing is, it's giving us death gems, and what's our death income right now?
We can use death gems. It's 11, but
11. Yeah, we could use it.
I
We
mean,
need
twice
to
spawning Buddha, and
raise
then
more.
yeah,
And then we'll want more skull staves, right, for all those death Buddha.
yeah. We're kind of let's talk a little bit. We're kind of getting some kits ready. So we've got oh, this isn't. Wait, oh, this isn't our current turn. I was like, that isn't organized for our current turn. Oh, it's not our current turn. My OCD inventory management. Ever since I figured out you can move items, it was
Well, okay. So the weird thing is, I'm sure we both have
our different methods.
our different methods. Like I've noticed that, like, oh, you like to put these here. I like to put them there. Like I put all my boosters in the bottom right corner, but I
We're
see
like ants.
you keep moving them. Yeah,
We're like ants from 2 different colonies that are coming and we keep moving each other's things around. I like to do it where I have kits because I don't want to look
In a
at,
row?
I don't want to see like really the types. I want to see how many kits we have. So like
yeah, that makes sense.
we've got like this is a Melkort kit, this is a Melkort. We could do a better job of I don't always obsess about having things in the exact right line. Like this would probably be the Melkort kit. Like we kind of are missing a good weapon for them. Like this, we wouldn't really put these on the Melkort. But like you can kind of see, okay, like these are the holes I have, and like we don't have boots, so we probably should put boots. If everything was in their own line, it's kind of not clear what you're missing for a kit. And then I was kind of doing the same thing over here. We basically, I think, are doing like there's the super budget Shaitan caster kit. And this guy will probably do a turn 1 incinerate. Incinerate, you need to be fire 3. So he can spend this 1 gem for the 1 turn to be fire 3 and do how much is it? 18 armor negating fire damage.
Now we should. Yeah, actually, I'm about that. Let's look at an Anaqui because that's what we're worried about, right?
That we don't do this against Anaquis.
Well, we can't choose.
Well,
Well,
no, right. I know, but we wouldn't do this in a province where there are Anaquis.
Yeah. So that would do well. I mean, if we got a pan,
it could route it, but it could. The problem with Anaquis is they have these beast bats.
Yes.
And it's hard to know exactly what's going to get targeted by incinerate. I don't know. The caster, because I've done some testing, the caster variety does not do well against the beast bats, and the caster variety can also do Phoenix Power, and then summon Fire Elemental and get a big Fire Elemental. And it doesn't cost us any gems to do that, which is nice. And he's got a buffalo from this hat. And so, like, that's a kind of nice thing. But this still loses to Anaquis most of the time, because Anaquis are really hard to assassinate. They have the beast bats that spawn turn 0 and are going to fly at you and fuck up your spell casting, so you never get the fire elemental off. And not only that, but they're death mages, so they're going to be spamming skeletons at you, which is like the hardest fucking thing to deal with in in an assassination battle. And the AI loves casting Horde of Skeleton or Drain Life, so you're going to get fucking wrecked.
So we determined through
we need a second kit.
Brainstorming.
This was your idea.
Yeah, I was like, what if we just go punch him in the face?
Yeah. Let's ignore the fact that there's 6-path mages.
Right. And just like attack largest, I guess, or attack can't be attack fire.
No, it's attack large. Yeah, it was attack large.
Attack large, because they're 4. Their size 4?
Yeah.
Or
that may even be bigger. It reliably I have the test game. Let me pull it up here.
Yeah.
Allstars debug. So this is like a very basic kit. We have them on attack large monster. 6-path mage, by the way, corrupt. Yeah, and what happens, this is kind of interesting, the bats fly over here, and he flies over here, and there's nobody next to the bats.
Boink.
Casual 102 damage. I haven't seen that was a high roll. I'm just gonna say.
I've never seen this. I just suggest we were brainstorming this, and I was like, why don't we just put like a Bane Blade on them or something? And
Yeah.
I've never actually seen it in action. That is hilarious. Oh my god, I love
but
that
you
so
can
much.
see there's moving parts, right? Like
Yeah.
there's the beast bats that are flying back here. There's the skeletons that they make turn one. Like holy shit, this is scary. Because he could target the skeletons, but the attack largest thing, he pretty fucking the beast bats reliably jump back here at the same time he jumps over here, so they miss each other, and he reliably will jump next to them and chop them in half.
That's pretty good. What's his actual attack skill? It must be pretty good, anyways, right? R. Shaitan,
Um,
casual 22 attack skill. Okay.
yeah, did they get the?
You mean like a sneak attack bonus?
No, I wondered if the enemy lost defense, which would make sense.
Oh.
Like they wouldn't see him coming.
Honestly,
But
might
oh
have.
yeah, 22 attack. That's a shit ton. Oh, he's got some stars though. This isn't his first rodeo.
Okay,
in my
okay,
test
3
game,
stars, but anyway.
he's chopped up a few.
Yeah.
He's chopped up.
Yeah.
A few.
So the Demon Blade does
But
like
you-
40.
You can see we recruited quite a few of them in the test game too, which
And
hopefully
you-
this will translate.
When you loaded this up, I thought this was the other nation, right?
Yeah. No, this is us.
Yeah. So the Demon Blade, it
my
does like
God.
40 damage, and then it's like times.
Look at the paths on this one. Jesus Christ. Blood 5. What? Yeah. So it does. Yeah, a bajillion damage.
Infinite damage to demons.
15 on top of already having high strength, and then multiplied by 3. So 41 times 3. Yeah, that's a lot.
That was the 120. Yeah. Holy shit. That does work. So there are a lot of things you can do for assassination battles, but for example, lifelong protection. It's just that lifelong protection is more.
That's
is
half a
fewer
Shaitan.
Shaitan,
Yeah, that's
right?
half a
It's like
Shaitan.
half a Shaitan. So yeah, basically we're gonna have a bunch of demon banes, which is why it was so important for us to get those water mages taken care of a few turns early.
Yeah.
So if ever we run into Onakui, then we'll use the demon blades. Honestly, the demon blades probably works against every other commander they have, right?
I mean, it's gonna chop them in half. Yeah. The only problem with this kit is it's expensive a little bit. I mean, we can tone out parts of it. Like you probably don't need this. You do kind of want this. The distraction of the buffalo is nice. And
So,
you kind of want an armor, which we don't have. I mean, I guess this could be the thing, right? Like these two
Okay,
are optional, but
Totally. I mean, maybe put the ring. So I think the
you had did you put somebody on repeat making these?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe-
What were you
I don't-
thinking they would go for?
Oh no, I don't know if they were on repeat. I think I made one. Maybe it was
There was
repeat
a
by
guy on
accident.
repeat.
Yeah, oh, could have been that.
I assumed you had a purpose in mind. I figured it was for this. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Because if he gets a skeleton near him and gets distracted, this will help, kill it.
No, honestly, that was probably. I was looking at it now. I'm sure I was thinking Melkarts more than.
Oh, okay.
Shaden. Right, that was probably part of a Melkart kit
Okay.
for repel.
That makes sense.
Well, yeah, because see, the thing is, who are we fighting here, right? So we're either fighting Onakui, but Onakui, we figured out that you can just punch him in the face, and that's how you win. So the key is, how do you make sure you punch him in the face? And I think you need the bull to distract skeletons. And honestly, the Ring of the Warrior, I think, is a really cheap attack score.
Because you don't want to
buff.
miss that first hit. If you miss the first hit, the skeletons get near you, you get drained life and all that.
Like, we could put the armor on him. I don't think it matters. Like, I don't think he's... Maybe, I mean, we can put it. It's a cheap item. But, like, it's optional, honestly. It's literally a 100% attack move, right? So it's like Demon Bane, Ring of the Warrior. Like, to me, that's the fundamental kit. But the armor is going to be cheap, so we can throw him give him armor if we want to. And honestly, I'm just trying to think, do they have a commander that script is going to fail on? And the only answer I can think of is, like, what if he kind of had like a thuggy Pan? Because Pans aren't demons, so they'll only, air quotes, take 42 damage.
I mean, we've got the thing here. I can test it super fast. It's the...
They also have the heroes.
Yeah, I think the challenge is if he... if he like fully thugs one of these guys or like anti-assassins them, like I'm sure I can make one that he can't kill. Like let's put a lifelong protection. Let's get a handful of acorns. Let's get.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay. If we're them, what do we put on our Onaqui to make him survive that?
Yeah, we put those things on. We put some armor, so he's going to be hard to kill, maybe. And we do maybe like a skull staff. And
right, because he wanted to drain life. Lightning
Yeah.
hat.
I mean, that would be super intense. If we're losing Shaitan to Lightning Hat Anakui, I'm okay with that.
We deserve to lose him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got to give them. They have to be able to win somehow, right? So we put this guy over here. Like, will this guy lose? I think we lose to this. I mean, and he's also going to give them, if this is the guy, he's going to have 5 of these bodyguards. And will this guy just be able to punch him in the face?
Yeah, he's got fireplate and not the ring of attack. Well, I'm curious, Amy.
Well, he's got 3 stars.
Yeah.
I mean, this does not look good. Oh, and the imps, and then Hand of Death.
Hand of Death.
Yeah, you really want to land the first hit. There's other things that you can do as part of the kit. But I think
the lifelong was the key there.
Yeah.
Because nothing else mattered. It was just about giving other targets.
Yeah. I mean, he has some fuckery he can do with us too, just in that he has these guys who are stealthy. He has, I mean, only one non-stealthy mage, really, right? And the problem with stealthy mages is you think you're going to assassinate them and they stealth away. So either you can't assassinate them or corrupt them, or, and this is the worst case, is we think we're going to hit like a big pile of pans or itzes, and they all stealth away and just one like Giga Chad dude is left, right? And all our assassins go up against the Giga Chad dude.
Yeah.
And that's something I've done repeatedly. And you can even, I don't think they can do it, but other nations, you can even magic phase in the Giga Chad dude. And then it's like, oh, you thought you were assassinating these guys who all stealthed away, and now there's, this actually happens in my relay series. Because I have a bunch of Star Children, right? And he's got a fort just full of assassins. And so they go to, I've got like 20 Astral One Star Children on top, which are like the easiest things to assassinate, right? And he's like, oh, I'm going to assassinate them all. And they all stealth away. And in their place is some like super combatant with anti-assassin gear on him. And he kills like every single assassin in the fort. So, yeah. That's a risk that they do. I mean, lifelongs are a great item for them to have on them in general, so it's not even really like a big detour to make them.
Yeah, and what else are they going to spend blood on?
Right, but the problem is they put a ton of stuff on them, and we're going to be stealing all that shit if it's in our Dominion once we have Dark Skies up.
Yeah.
So I think this is it. I think this is like actually some of my core conflict with thinking about our current position is
we want to engage before Dark Skies.
It's going to be
if
so
we
much.
Have the choice.
It's going to be so much easier to fight them after Dark Skies. It's going to be so much easier to fight them after Dark Skies. But our diplo is going to go to shit after we put it up. So ideally, we can make it. Here's how I think the best timing is for us. And you tell me what you think. Best timing is we get this turn, we're getting enchantment 7. Oh, fuck. Do we need to end our nap now?
No. We have to wait. I think we're getting stronger than they are, faster. You know what I mean?
But let's think through this, right? So, okay, if we fight them without dark skies, it's going to be harder. But the second we put dark skies up, it becomes much more likely that we get involved in like the target of a coalition. We're going to lose all our friends, basically.
Okay, but to the east, Team Brown is going to be playing Pacific Rim for the next 50 turns, right? So that's less of a concern.
But
Now,
Satalis might turn on us.
Satalis, right. So we have to do Dark Skies while Satalis is busy fighting Szechuan.
Well, okay, yeah. If they do that, then that makes it simple. But it could also be like this would be the best to me if I got to pick what happened, and I don't. We're just one player. But if we got these guys to attack them now with us, like maybe even ending the nap this turn, and they're fully committed, which I'm not sure if they are, but if they were and they had big armies in place to go actually kick them out of here. And we attack. And just as the tides of war are going in our favor, maybe we've taken a couple of these important forts on our border, and these guys are starting to scream to everybody, holy shit, guys, if you let these guys go unchecked, y'all are going to lose, because they're going to be crying like little babies. Mm-hmm. If at that time we're getting Thom 8, right? And so we've eliminated our biggest threat at the same time as we flip on our most powerful switch. And we've gotten somebody to help us take our biggest threat down. The thing is, if we put up Dark Skies, I don't think there's any way Satalis is going to help us.
Well, okay, it's true. Here are two thoughts. I don't think Satalis wants to help us anyways, if we don't put up Dark Skies. I think Satalis wants to eat Szechuan and let us 1v1 Mammon. Right? Yeah. They're not more worried about they view both of us as like game-ending threats, right? So I just don't think they wanted to help us in the first place.
That's probably true. And
putting up. So if we just have a 1v1 on Mammon and we win, that we don't need to have Dark Skies up for them to coalition us. We're gonna get coalition, right? Like that's not what's gonna trigger. Like us defeating the other scaling nation is what's gonna trigger everybody to freak out, right? Yeah. Of course, because they're going to go down screaming, gotta kill these other guys. So, honestly, the timing of Dark Skies, I think, just happens whenever it happens, right? Like, it's not going to, unless we were in a scenario where nobody attacked anybody for the next 20 turns, right? And in that case, us putting up Dark Skies might trigger something. But in any scenario in which we're fighting, then either we win the 1v1 and that triggers a coalition, or we put up Dark Skies and that triggers a coalition, or both, right? Like, or some combination of the two. So I think we'll just put it up when we put it up, whenever that happens to be. The question becomes, how do we make the 1v1 cost as little as possible for us, right? And I think that means certainly we have to try to get Satalis involved, but like I said, I think he just wants to.
Okay, well, how about this? I'm gonna reach out to Satalis and see what they're thinking. Mm-hmm. I just want to see, like, I don't want to push anything on them, and I want to see what they want to do. And you're probably right. They're probably going to say they want to eat El Shu, so we'll say okay. If they want to go on Mammon, I think it would potentially make sense to fight now,
for sure.
Right?
If they want to take.
Now we're going to have, if we end our nap, we'll have Alt 7 by the time the nap ends. And if we have Alt 7 and Enchantment 6 and Evocation 5, I think there's some things we have to do to prepare. Like, we have to prepare for them to have a lot of Blackheart Assassins. So we'd probably spend like a turn here of making Shadow Imps, or something like that.
Yeah.
And we'd have to really focus on getting our Shaitan kits going. But
if Satalis attacks El Shu, then that's going to be a quick war, right?
Yeah.
And the problem is we don't want Satalis like if because Satalis is going to eat El Shu faster than we eat Mammon. This is assuming we even win against Mammon, right? Like,
Right.
So there's a certainly if we can get like the dream coalition of Satalis, Szechuan, and ourselves all attacking Mammon, that's the best, right?
Yeah.
And it's not because it makes the fight like we're still going to do most of the fighting because we're going for the core lands. They're just going to eat up the periphery.
Yeah.
But that is going to delay the future coalition against West by the most amount of turns.
Well, that too. Yeah, because they'll go after El
Right.
Shu afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we have to push that as much as we can.
Okay, so let's say they don't. Let's say they hammer haul, or they say they're not ready, or they don't want to, or they want to go on El Shu. Then we have to decide what's the best time. We already know these guys are fully occupied. So this is the other news: is these guys have basically killed Hue. We've jumped forward in time. We don't have any battles to really show you, but Hue. The story here is this is a really long episode.
Mm-hmm.
But the story here is Hue had been attacking Pinpappy as part of like what was turned into a 3v1. And they were kind of coming into Vulture, and Pinpappy was not having it, and they stack wiped Hue. Killed a big stack of stuff. And that happened at just the time when this underwater war ended. And the word from Enkarios, or whatever it is that they were going to attack them anyway. But when they saw the stack wipe, they're like, sweet, we're going to attack them anyway. Mm-hmm. And they rolled in and just full force, and basically they just completely knocked over these guys. And so some of the diplo groundwork we were doing kind of with these guys ahead of time, saying this was coming, was helpful, because Gripazon has jumped into action, and they are kicking these guys out of the Hue lands, which there's a lot of land provinces to take. Mm-hmm. Vinland has said that they will kick them off the land, but they are like seriously dragging their feet. I think there's some issues going on where they're not like spending a ton of time on turns. I don't even know really what's going on, but there's something.
They're pretty tiny also.
Yeah, they're pretty tiny. They should be striking right now and kicking them off, because we're sending this turn Staff of Elemental Mastery and Water Gems to Gripazon, and they're going to cast Sea of Ice.
Yep.
And I think the idea is they kick them off, they get a bunch of stuff, and then then basically people get to decide who they fight. You know, like. Mm-hmm. But so that's all going to happen, and this whole thing is going to take probably at least 10 more turns to unfold, unless one of them wants to fight with us. So anyway, that's all important context for what we need to do, because I think we're getting to the point where we need to do something soon. We're not on a clock exactly, but things are escalating over here, and if they go sideways, maybe we Vulture, but like if Gripazon loses to Enkarios, the game's pretty close to being over. Which is another important thing to think about. I need to figure out exactly we can't get any scouts over here. They all get patrolled out going through Mammon. Yeah. I've asked them which thrones they have. This throne is owned. I think Mammon has 2 out of 3 thrones on the coast. But I need to like triple confirm it. But especially if these guys start losing, because we need to know, like, we may have to come in and snipe a throne to stop the Underwater Nation from winning. But assuming we don't need to do that, when to fight? I think if we have... How many turns are we away from Galegate? We're not many turns away, Zach. Well,
let's say it's 3 turns for
Alt 7.
Enchantment 7, Alt 7, right? And then it's going to be 1,
Four
2,
more turns?
3. Like after those 3, it's another 3. Assuming we keep scaling, I think it's just another 3. Maybe 3 and 3 to 4.
4. So let's say 7 turns. Yeah. I think we're actually going to hit the turn 50 timing for Thom 9 if we go for it.
And including having gotten Enchantment 7 and Alt 7 along the way, which is pretty nuts.
I mean, it would make... I think it's like... Because I'm thinking like, okay, we could totally fight them with Enchant 7, Alt 7. But it's like if we're only 7 turns away from stealing all their shit instead of killing it.
Yes.
You know?
But also, because also remember, if we kill Mammon, then coalition happens against us.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. This has been an epically long episode.
Yeah.
And I want to end it by throwing... Well, I want to end it, period.
Yeah.
But I have actually... Okay, I'll save this thought for our next recording session, but maybe we'll talk about it in the meantime. So I have a different thought about what we could do. But yeah, you've listened to us talk about like 10 turns, I think, of the game, and then the next 10 turns, all in one giant episode.
And most of it has been staring at this goddamn research screen.
Yeah, this is
so
amazing
important.
content.
This is so important. This is like,
and honestly, this is
determine...
what's fun about this format, right?
Yeah.
This Hydra format is we can, like, when we have an idea, we're really able to flesh it out and perfect it, but also we can come up with like different ideas too, right? Like that the other wouldn't have thought of.
The other important thing is they have Eye of God. They put this up a few turns ago. Vinland finally stole Mother Oak, and so we should expect, I guess, this turn to get 5 nature gems from them.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah. But I think they're making more Long Dead than us too, which is another...
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. We're getting outscaled on troops pretty hard.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna have to win with shenanigans. No doubt about it.
So okay, we have to decide. I think the one thing we have to be careful of, and we'll close it out, is we need to make sure we're staying still by choice and not by habit. Because right now you and I have fallen into a habit of our micro and not doing anything. And I think we're getting very close to the... First of all, I think we can win the fight. And we potentially are getting to the point where we really need to go win the fight. Because things are starting to spiral. I mean, things are escalating on the other side of the world. And if somebody wins, the clock's going to be ticking.
All right, so let's leave. Let's leave everybody on that cheerful note.
All right, and thank y'all for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
See ya.